Greetings and sorry for the quick upload. I usually don't want to do like 1-2 punch uploads. I don't want to do daily shit, but I feel like right now, like I don't want to bother my subscribers with like too many uploads. I feel like videos need to simmer for like 3 to 5 days before I can upload something else. But the Sony thing is just, it's so in the ballpark of what I want to preach about on this channel every now and then. It's this shittification personified. That is like the Sony thing. These are the actual issues we need to talk about and deal with in the gaming industry. The pure shittification of the industry. And even though I'm juggling like 5 different projects right now while trying to manage my day job in the background, I just need to upload this right now. Like the Sony thing, it's like one of those topics where you know about it, although a little bit late, and a little bit late to the party as always. And as soon as I watched some of the videos about it, like the Louis Rossmann video and some of the other things, like I saw the Asmongold tweet, I immediately went and wrote down like 5 pages of shit. And I'm just gonna go through it. So yes, you know about this. Sony's going to take away physical hardware sales like the box, the games, the physical games. If you're an owner and enjoyer of physical media, you will no longer be able to buy physical media if you own a Sony console and if you like playing Sony games. And here's my non-surprising opinion on it. You know what, Sony, fuck it. Fuck it. At this point, I'm all for the accelerationism that this company is pushing. I'm all for it. Why don't you increase the price of the PlayStation Plus by like 10-20 bucks per month? Come on, make all games $100 base price. And while you're at it, make the PS5 another $500 more expensive. Come on, Sony, come on, push a little bit harder. Honestly, I'm at a point where I would rather see this industry collapse sooner than later. I don't want to sit through this for 20 more years dealing with shittification garbage. Let's just accelerate a little bit quicker. Come on, like, let's be honest. The industry is not going to last for another 20 years at this rate, at this point. And I'm done trying to steer this ship around by being like, maybe we can convince some of the industry veteran. Maybe we convince someone in the industry. Maybe we can talk to these people. No, you can't talk to them. They're greedy. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a single shit about any one of us. And they will shittify everything. They will destroy everything this industry was about, everything this industry stands for, every single game release, everything. Every dev studio that you liked will be closed down by these greedy shitbags. And this isn't even the first time Sony stole. Yes, I'm using that word. They stole from you. They stole the shit that you purchased. Think about the Discovery. Like, remember the Discovery documentaries that they took away due to licensing issues. That is shit you purchased, you owned. It is not something that is a subscription. You had that. You had it and they took it away from you. That's stealing. I don't give a shit that you only had the perpetual license, but that's stealing. You had it, you purchased it, they took it away. That is just theft. That is nothing else but theft. And this is happening in every aspect of gaming, tech, in every avenue of life. At every point you get shit outright stolen from you. You get everything shittified. You have a printer. Nah, half of the features and the functions of the printer now require a subscription. You got a car. Nah dude. Half of the generic features of the car are now on a subscription. You can't use the fucking radio anymore. You can't use the air conditioner anymore without the subscription. Wait until they sell you the brakes in the security subscription package. You got any smart device at home? Oh, it's got some sort of subscription added to it, some sort of online feature. At any point, at any time, the company can alter the deal and take features and whole functions away from you while redefining what ownership and legal purchase means. That's fucked up. And I'm so sick and tired of everything that you own, digitally own, being just a license you lend and you have temporarily access to. You're temporarily allowed to hold the license. What fucking bullshit. Bullshit. The fact that this has been going on for this long without significant pushback and nothing has changed. In fact, everything has gotten worse. Everything has gotten worse. It just makes me think we need a big ass reset. We need an entire industry reset. This thing needs to collapse. Everything needs to collapse. Mark my word, super greed from a company is usually a sign that they desperately need your money. The more greedy a company seems to be, the more they are suffering losses behind the scenes and the more they will painstakingly try to bleed you dry. It is typical. It's the typical vicious spiral, the vicious cycle. Company has losses, makes shit more expensive to recoup these losses, consumers buy less because they literally can't afford it anymore. Company continues to make losses. Company eventually goes into the final death spiral and goes bankrupt. And I only can hope that this shit ends in bankruptcy, which in Sony's case, this is never going to happen, but the best we can hope for is that Sony ends up in a much less relevant state after the collapse. And to be honest, the fact that Sony scammed themselves with their dumbass live service plans and acquiring Bungie by the way, who were operating at a 40% loss for $3.9 billion, serves you right, Sony. Serves you right. Serves you right for being oblivious and thinking you can pull that shit. And yet they are still trying to push live service crap onto the platform, onto the users. But we all know that gaming executives never learn from anything, so it's not surprising. So I say, you know what, let him shit the bed and shitify everything, fuck it all up, just go Sony, go. Let them cook, do your thing Sony, just make it worse. I think in the long run we will eventually benefit from all of this. It might hurt right now and I promise you it's only gonna get worse. It is going to get so much worse, but I think eventually we will reach a breaking point. I am rather pessimistic and black-pilled on gaming, but there has to be a limit. There has to be a limit of how much a consumer can be beaten, abused and bled dry before something will change. For that to happen, things need to be much worse, and Sony is doing a really good job at this. Think about it. While yes, 85% of sales were digital according to Sony, that still means Sony potentially pissed off at least 15% of gamers by taking away their future physical media. And I am not even a physical media guy, but I still empathize with these people. Some of these people genuinely used physical media to experience some sort of ownership, even though it's not really a solution to the problem, and they would have taken away more and more of that ownership anyway. Arguably, most physical media isn't even usable without day one patches and other downloads. Also, do you remember the locked content on the disc? Yeah, they never wanted you to own games. Even when they were on the disc, you couldn't or you hadn't access to the full game because they locked shit on the disc. They never wanted you to have physical games. They never wanted you to own anything. And now you won't even get to put an empty box up there in your display case because they won't sell that either. They'll just stop selling it. And you know what? The games are going to get more expensive. Even though they're no longer selling plastic boxes with disc inside, the games will get more expensive. But again, you know, it's gonna hurt for now. It's gonna be really shitty for now. But in the long run, once the reset happens, once the bubble finally pops, once all of this shit goes down in flames, I think this is gonna be for the best of us. Again, I'm at this point all for bringing on the nukes. Accelerate everything, make it all worse, do it quickly so that even the most blinded fool of a consumer zombie realizes the house is now actually burning. It is actually on fire, and no, in reality, it is not fine. It is not fine at all. If anything, this gives us more ammunition to push for solid digital rights and ownership, something I was arguing for years now. For me, true on-demand media never really existed in the first place. I believe we not only need true on-demand media, but also a solid, fully legal ownership of the files we acquire, fully, legally and perpetually. If I buy a movie online or an audiobook, I want the file. I don't want access, I want the file. I want the right to download a file and save it. I want the legal right to have access to it and re-download it again. And if I lose access to the account, I want all my licenses exportable, and then for the remainder of my life, I should be able to download these files I owned before my account was closed. Independent on why my account was closed down, I should have access to a perpetual license for each and every type of digital media I buy, and I should have the right to acquire it through whichever means I want to. That would be true on-demand media with true digital ownership rights. But that was never a reality, and it's probably never going to be a reality because of all of the lobby pushback against it, at least if you're using legal means. And I remember being able to go to GitHub, like a GitHub project, with my license for a movie or an audiobook from Audible or Amazon, and I could show that license on the GitHub project, and then I was able to get the MP3 or the MP4 file, and then I could download it. I could actually get the product that I purchased. I didn't have to watch it in the Amazon player. I could download it and then put it somewhere and save it, and I could repeatedly do it. Because think about it, with the current always online trend, with that method of it being always online, which is a form of DRM, You never really own anything. And as soon as you have issues with your connection or your account or whatever else, you just lose all access to everything you purchased on the account. Hell, the audio player itself, like the Audible player, doesn't work without internet in some cases. You can't just watch YouTube videos, even with premium, because there needs to be like an online subscription. Yeah, I tested it out. I went on holiday, was in a place where there wasn't any internet. I saved videos from YouTube to the player, and the player told me, no, you need online connection, but I downloaded YouTube, I downloaded the video. Did I not? Why do I need online functionality to watch that video? Like, there's no value proposition there. Why would I ever then keep being subscribed to Prime or to Premium, to YouTube Premium? Like, there's no value proposition. And a sign of enshittification is that, as far as I know, Amazon took away the possibility to use the licenses in that GitHub project to download the actual file, which is obvious the answer to that. You were never supposed to do this in the first place. And the same goes for any subscription models. This is why I'm arguing about the value proposition. Netflix, Hulu, whatever. You can never get the full value out of the money that you pay. You will basically always get scammed out of money unless you're literally a chain smoking Netflix subscriber, like you're watching every day for hours on end. And secondly, you can never actually get your hands on full series, like the full, I don't know, complete package on Netflix as a purchase. You cannot purchase a season. For example, I tried to get Love, Death and Robots, and fuck me, I couldn't find any feasible way to get my hands on this without subscribing to something. There isn't a Blu-ray, there isn't a DVD set, there's nothing. There's nothing. The only option is you subscribe to the respective service that has that season or the series, and that's the only option. You can't buy a season pack. You can't go to Netflix and go, I would like to buy season 2 of X. You can't do that. That's why I don't care about Netflix. These people will never get my money. They will never get my money because I look at this and I go, no, this is not on-demand media for me. I want access. When I want on-demand media, it means when I want access, I get access by paying. And this is the thing. I'm not even a guy that wants to pirate everything. I would pay for this stuff. But I can't. I can't even give them money. I have no other option besides subscribing, and that is not what I don't want that. I don't want that. I want to buy the season 1, 2, 3. I want like a complete pack, and it doesn't matter if it's more expensive. I would pay it. I would pay the money, but they don't even give you that option. So no thank you to subscription models. I guess being able to directly buy something from these subscription models, that is not a value proposition for them, I guess. Let's also not forget the fact that instead of actually competing with each other through quality, streaming stability, good streams, maybe a good UI design or something, you know, anything, they just hoard a bunch of exclusive titles, shows and IPs, so you have to subscribe to everything if you want to watch a broad range of shows. And that means the media platform has to give no single fuck about actually having some sort of quality product that they're providing, because they know you're gonna go to them and you're gonna subscribe, because if you don't, tough luck. You have no access to unless you know, go through non-legal means. But if you want to stay within the legal boundaries, you have no option. You have no option. Why do you think Sony walked back the Universal Platform Publishing Clause? Why do you think they will no longer publish on Steam, which is another thing that they took away from us? Well, they want you on their platforms purchasing on their store. And they want you bound to that with their exclusives. And they want you paying money for PS Plus and PSN on a monthly basis. That is why. To Sony, taking the loss of not selling on Steam is acceptable because they can bind Sony fans to their exclusive console offerings. Because then they don't have to worry about any quality. Because if you want to play a game X that is only on Sony, then your only option will be to buy it on PlayStation. And that is not really competition. It's just who can hoard the most exclusives and the most IPs, and then hoard them out in order to make money instead of improving anything about the platform itself. And that is why exclusivity sucks. That is why monthly subscriptions suck. That is why I will never be a customer of companies like that. Amazon at least lets you buy single episodes in seasons. It's ridiculously expensive if you do so, and same goes for audiobooks without the Audible subscription, but at least the option is there. I have the option to buy something on demand. You know the reason it's called on-demand media and not being enslaved to a subscription media. Also Sony, on a personal level, I never wanted your stink IPs on the PC anyway, if I'm honest. Sony was always a shit company, peddling mid-slop to the masses. The Sony third-person slop epidemic is the reason we have so many non-games or movies masquerading as games nowadays. The reason the industry is catering to the lowest common denominator. A lot of the fault I put on Sony. By the way, Sony, take away crossplay while you're at it too. Why not? Why not just take away crossplay too? Piss off some more people while you're at it, Sony. Come on, do it. Do it, Sony. I should have just stuck to my guns and should have continued boycotting Sony instead of getting peer pressured into buying fucking Helldivers. God, what a shit game that turned. Don't get me started on Arrowhead or we will never see the end of this video. I will promise you, after Helldivers, this is the last game from Sony that I will have ever purchased. I will not pay for any other Sony product ever again. Not that I regularly did in the past, but I'm fully boycotting Sony from this point onwards. No exceptions anymore. No matter how much peer pressure I get from friends, fuck that. And you know, we won't even be able to play it on the PC anymore, so I guess I won't be pressured into it because most of my friends don't have PlayStations either. And believe you me, boycotting works. Don't be a pessimist about this. Boycotting works. It is also the only way you can hurt Sony. Stop paying for PS Plus, your PSN account, online access, stop buying their overpriced shovelware, jailbreak your console, be the most pedantic, annoying customer ever envisioned. Hey, maybe there is even an opportunity to spam the social media every time they post something. Just be a little shit. Be a little shit to them. Don't give them the money. Like, treat them like they treat you. Why do you have any respect for this company? They treat you like garbage. They hate you. They genuinely, honestly hate you. They only care about your money and that's it. They don't value any of their customers. They don't give a shit. So why would you not do onto them like they do onto you? You have no obligation to be courteous with Sony. Nothing. It should get harder and harder to defend Sony. I'm still sure and certain there's people absolutely doing it, but come on. Like, you're putting your head on the platter for Sony. They wouldn't give a shit about you. No matter what happened to you, they don't give a shit. Stop defending them. By the way, let's be honest, once again, you never had to pay for Sony games in the first place. And you never had to give them your money. Inferior hardware, an inferior collection of games and IPs, locked behind a PSN account and a monthly subscription just to get online functionality. Something you should not have to pay for. That money should just go to your ISP and the ISP gives you online connectivity. Sony never deserved your money because they treat you like shit. Yeah, honestly, I hope it gets worse. I hope it gets worse because it's the only way we get even the last consumer to finally turn on the shitty corpos. Nothing I or you will ever say to these people has ever resonated with them. Maybe when they are physically, literally not able, and I mean the literally, if they're not able to afford to play games anymore, maybe that is finally when reality will set in and these people will wake up. We need to aggressively push and support movements like Stop Killing Games now more than ever and push for additional legislation, and we need also to make it clear who our enemies are. All of these lobby groups, the ESA, the European equivalent, they are all traitors to gaming. They have only the money of the gaming companies in mind. They never stood for us or were on our side. Or if they ever were, they are far, far gone by now. And I will promise you, I'm going to make a long form video on the ESA specifically and their historic decline and their history of failures, garbage arguments, and the backstabbing that they're doing to the gaming community. None of these groups are going to help us. The only option is for true grassroots movements of enough pissed gamers to make a change. Stop Killing Games is one such movement, but I still believe we need to push this further. There needs to be an actual legal ownership bill for digital media. We cannot continue in this limbo state of gray zone and non-ownership forever. It's just not going to happen. It can't happen. Enough people will eventually be fed up with getting rolled over and having their shit yoinked away, stuff that they have purchased taken away from them under their asses. There has to be a breaking point. There just has to be. Until then, you know what to do. Boycott, pirate, and be a nuisance. And speak out if you can. It's the only thing we have as consumers besides resignation and giving up. And you should never give up. Don't don't throw in the towel, because it's going to get better eventually. And hey, the corporates are doing a great job at accelerating the inevitable end, so kudos to Sony. They might not know it, but the idiocy that they put on display has probably mobilized more consumer advocates than anything else before. And these people are even more motivated now to push for legislation on the matter. I believe it will happen eventually, whether it starts in the EU or God forbid actually happens in America. Eventually it will happen, but not before the big gaming crash, which is currently ongoing, by the way. If you didn't notice, we are already in a meltdown phase and it is not going to stop. If you think we are getting not more layoffs in the gaming industry, you're wrong. This is far from over. These companies will continue to burn through money and manpower, and honestly, these companies deserve every single penny they lose. And we just have to kind of power through it and sit through it. We have to sit it out. If you are a skeptically minded gamer, we were always forced to play the long game. It sucks. It sucks real bad. I know, but it's the only way. Just keep that in mind. In the end, I believe we will take the win. We will take home the win. And until then, keep on going. And while you might miss your physical copies in the future, keep in mind, in the end, it probably was for the better. It was for a good cause. See you next time.